But the show is Rising Stars. I'm Vikram, like we were just introducing our guest today. Many people out there saying that now is the time to buy real estate. Now that we're seeing a bit of a dip in some of the prices, at least in some pockets in the country. But what about the rental market? How is that doing? Well, the impact of demonetization is still playing itself out. How are digital players in the real estate business shaping their strategies? Let's ask the people behind NoBroker.com, which is this platform, a marketplace really, to buy, sell and rent houses without brokers. That's the biggest USP. And as a consequence, of course, when you don't have brokers, you don't pay brokerage as well. So that's a significant cost gone. But Amit Kumar Agarwal is the co-founder and the CEO of the company. He's joining us from Bangalore to tell us more about the nature of the business that they've set up. Welcome to Rising Stars, Amit. Great to have you with us. My first question, is it really possible to do real estate deals without brokers? Because that system, Amit, is an age-old one. To circumvent it is obviously going to be a huge challenge. So what's the business model that you built to break through this incumbent way of cracking real estate deals?
Yeah, Vikram. So NoBroker is a disruptive online real estate platform, and as you said, it's an age-old traditional industry. And what has always happened typically that for consumers like you and me, if we have to take a house, then we cross a street and we meet a broker who's going to charge us 1 month of rent or 2% in buy and sell transaction, and there we go. In the past 10 years, what has happened is a lot of websites have come, but these websites are mainly act as a broker lead generation and advertisement mechanism. So when as a customer, when I go to these websites, I'm able to search properties, but when I click on a phone number, the phone number which I get is that of a broker. So eventually, in terms of overall transaction, I as a consumer don't save a single penny. I still end up giving brokerage. And when we started, which is 3 years back, we thought, why is it so? Why should I pay 1 month of rent to someone just for knowing his phone number and just for connecting him in this age of smartphone? So what we have done is something totally disruptive. And so on NoBroker.com, you come and you basically post your property free of cost. And as a tenant, you come and you search the properties and you click on that number and you directly deal with the owner. You directly deal with the buyer and a seller, and you close the transaction and you save 90 to 100% of the entire transaction cost. So we are India's largest non-brokerage marketplace, and at this scale, this initiative has never been done even in the West ever before. We are adding 1 lakh new customers per month, and we are saving 20 crores and more worth brokerage every month.
You know, Amit, the promise is huge over here, but how do you ensure that brokers themselves are not using your service? So what kind of mechanism have you put in place to make sure that, there are really no brokers at the end of the day?
So this is purely a tech-based solution. So my co-founders Akhil and Saurabh, all of us have basically built a very strong tech-based algorithm which uses heavy data science, so that we are able to, as soon as the customer registers on our site, we basically are able to access the entire profile and are able to predict with 99.9% accuracy that there is not even a single broker which is able to come to our website. Every month we are 3,000 and more brokers try to breach into NoBroker.com, but we are able to catch them. And so each month we are having more than 5 lakh interactions between owners and tenants and buyers and sellers, and not even a single broker. That's our biggest USP.
You know, I can't help asking you the kind of resistance that you might have faced from the broker community on the back of this after you launched your business. Obviously, like we started out by saying, it's traditional. It's a business that has been there for a very long time. You're eating into their business. Tell me, what's the kind of resistance you faced? It must have been a huge challenge to overcome that.
Yeah, so brokers don't like us very much. And what has happened is that because internet and smartphone and technology can really scale up something very fast. So 2 years back, 3 years back, we were nobody. We had just started and we were just adding 1,000 customers a month. Today we are adding 1 lakh new customers a month. We are closing 5,000 and more houses on our platform. So the challenge which we faced earlier was that brokers used to threaten us, make us phone calls and bully us, some of them. And then in an unfortunate incident, what happened is that we have our office in Bangalore, and almost 60 brokers came and they attacked our office physically. they wanted to break stuff and they wanted to scare the employees away. Somehow we could call the police and hold on to it, but we did have to vacate that office and move somewhere else. Now we keep our whereabouts very secret, but the truth of the matter is that in any business, what is most important is how much value you are adding to a customer. If a broker is really good, and there are real good brokers also, they are able to add value to the customers and will never be able to take those customers away from them. But for majority of the transactions, what consumers feel in this era of smartphone, where they can book a cab over smartphone, where they can order grocery over smartphone, they feel that why should I pay to connect with another human being? And hence we basically believe that majority of the transactions are moving away from a physical broker model to an online model, and this is not only a India shift, this is a global shift which is happening.
About that. But Amit, how has this business grown for you since the time you set it up? How many people have you served by way of listings and perhaps the number of downloads of your app that we've seen so far?
Yeah, so in terms of numbers, we are also pleasantly surprised because we run a very tight ship and we don't waste any funds. And still in the past 2 years since our funding, we have added more than 15 lakh customers. We have added more than 5 lakh new property listings. Our Android app downloads are more than 7 lakhs. And the number of transactions that we are closing is more than 5,000 houses per month. So that way we are really fortunate that customers have lapped up this offering, and what we have been able to uncover is a huge latent demand which customers have, that so when we launched, there are many customers who came and said, yes, this is exactly what I wanted. I wanted to deal with owner, deal with sellers, deal with buyers directly, because typically a owner wants to know with who is going to live into my house for the next 11 months. I want to know him better. And many of the intermediaries, they try to hide information so that the deal happens. But when you connect them directly, there is even higher trust and there is better transaction and lower cost.
Right.
So this is a huge latent demand that we have been serving, and we are seeing very, very good traction in the past 2 to 3 years.
And what's the average profile of users of NoBroker.com? It's also important that you put in focus how familiar you are with the properties that are getting listed as well. Do you have a mechanism for that as well?
Yeah, so basically, see, in terms of, we are in 4 cities, Bombay, Pune, Bangalore, Chennai, and we are going to launch more cities this year. And what we are seeing is that tenants are typically anywhere between aged from 20 years, students and working professionals, till the age of 35 to 40 years. Whereas the owners are slightly elder, because you need to own a property and you should have some net worth. So owners are typically from 35 years age to 55 years age. This is the profile that we are seeing. The properties across these 4 cities, be it prime areas like Bandra or Koramangala, or be it suburban areas like Thane or like Hebbal, we are seeing demand as well as supply in across. So what we basically represent is a typical pyramid of real estate transaction, in which we have expensive properties which are more than 1 lakh properties. We also have properties which are 1 room kitchen which are of 5,000 rupee rent. So just as a way in which a typical pyramid would represent, we are representing the same pyramid. And in terms of market share, our market share in such a short span in terms of the owner properties is now between 5 to 15%. So we are leader in all the 4 cities that we operate in, we are very fortunate to be there.
Amit, how are you monetizing as well? I believe you've already started charging tenants for the service that you provide. What about home owners as well? So what's it looking like, the entire monetization pyramid?
So what we have done is we have been extremely careful with the costs. So unlike any other player, we don't have physical people on the ground. We don't have city offices. We have a single office, and everything is based through call center and through product and through technology. So we have been able to keep our costs very low. So as you said, for tenants, majority of the tenants is free of cost. You come and you basically contact other owners and you close your property. In case you want some value-added services, then we have 1,000 rupee and 2,000 rupee plans, which are good for us. Similarly, for owners, it's free. You can come and you can post your property. Yes, if you want a value-added service, if you want a relationship manager to pick up your phone calls and help you out, then we have a 3,000 rupee plan. So it's basically a freemium subscription-based model where you pay if you want to use value-added services, else it's free.
In January last year, you closed a $10 million Series B funding, Amit, and by the end of the year, you had raised another $7 million, $17 million. What are you doing with all that money, Amit? What are you spending on now to expand the business? Is a lot of it directed in marketing activities like happens with a lot of startups?
So we have been extremely careful with the money. That's, I think, the thing which investors have liked, because of which we were able to raise 130 crore till now. And what we have been focusing is that even when we have funds, we focus on monetization, we focused on increasing our revenue. And now when our revenue playbook is ready, when our product, which all of us have made, is really mature, now basically it's time for us to expand. So these funds that we have raised is mainly to expand to the next 10-15 top cities in the country for the next 2 years. We are already the market leader in the 4 cities that we operate in, and the objective is that in the next 2 years we'll spend some money in terms of marketing and expand to 10 to 15 more cities.
Well, the action is just about picking up in the real estate space, isn't it? At this point in time, the expectations are huge despite the setback that demonetization has brought in. But we wish you great luck, Amit. Thanks so much for joining us and being a rising star on the show today. And that's Rising Stars. We'll continue showcasing more and more of these young achievers who are putting their digital businesses out there and obviously getting the kind of funding they need to take their businesses to the next level as well. I'm Amit Kumar Agarwal from me and the team. Thanks for joining us. Bye-bye.